Hey guys, and welcome to the patch notes for the 21st of February 2018 patch. So this patch contains a number of updates, including a new PvP server with modified rules for PvP, buffs for the warrior and the striker, minor buffs for the ninja, the kunoichi, and a few other small things. So let's start with the PvP specific server. It's called the Arsha server, and it has special PvP balance only applied to the Arsha server. All characters' PvP DP will be raised. Pressing shift while in a down state will activate a guard stance while still lying down and reduce the damage you are taking. Characters will be immune from all debuffs for a certain amount of time if affected more than 3 times from bound, floating, stun, and grapple stun effects. The damage calculations are different from that of normal servers, and as a result, the buff damage against humans may be less effective. All monsters, with the exception of field and world bosses and the desert merchant caravan of Valencia, will still be present. All negative karma effects will still happen, so don't join the server if you're already negative karma, expecting to be able to farm scot-free. You will still need to grind relatively safely. And you can still regain positive karma points by killing monsters. So it seems like their idea with the server are 2 things. 1, try and replace the Valencia 6 server, and 2, try to kind of experiment with PvP balance without messing up the normal servers for the rest of the players. They can collect data here, they can modify and tune things, and hopefully change high-level PvP from a simple one-shot fest to something that requires a bit more skill and nuance. Next up, the following items have been added to Petrigia's shop, so the Night Vendor. Zarka, Nuver, Kutum, and Dandelion weapon boxes. These are much more expensive than the normal items, going up to something like 900 million silver. But you can buy these and prepare for upcoming classes such as the Lan, or if you've just been totally unlucky in getting your own Dandy, Nuver, Kutum, or Zarka, you can buy one of these boxes for your main class. This will not really affect too much the amount of class-specific boss weapons that are already being sold. It'll just be another thing that can appear if you are lucky enough to roll boss gear or the like from the Night Vendor. Apart from that, there's not too much else. The Send Love event of the Valentine's Day event has ended, and a few other changes. Valencia 6 has returned from PvP exclusive to a normal server, as it's being replaced with the Arsha server, and the Alvia Steam servers have become normal Alvia servers. So apart from that, the main other changes in this patch have to do with classes. Warrior got a number of buffs this week, so I'm not going to go through all of them, but realistically there are some fairly decent buffs. None of them are really to skills that the Warrior uses a lot, but there are a lot of minor buffs here, and a lot of minor buffs will still raise a character's power level. So just quite a few buffs, as you can see. Tamer, nothing big. Valkyrie, nothing big. Witch Wizard. Musa got some buffs as well, with the mostly stamina and waypoint changes, or willpower rather. Hit range 1 step back. Chain from Fiery Angel is now smoother, and a few flow changes. So not really buffs, just a few small changes. Meiwa, not much. Ninja and Kuno both got a small buff to their pre-awakening form, where you will recover 50 hit points per good Fox Claw hit. So Shift R&B will now let you recover more health, which is pretty good. So Kuno got the same change. Dark Knight, nothing big. Striker. So the class that everyone thought was the worst in the game, that absolutely needed the buffs the most of all classes in the game, did not get buffs this week. Striker, on the other hand, did. Martial Spirit skill is now a passive. If you successfully land hits from one of the following skills, the opponent's willpower, mana, and special points will reduce by 5 at a time. So number of skills, like quite a lot of them. Improvements were made so the skill mass flow mass destruction will function more smoothly when pressing sideways RMB with the guard brace on during combat, so in your awakening. Improvements were made so that skill Fallout will activate upon pressing RMB while moving backwards to the guard brace. And they adjusted the Martial Spirit skill description to contain reduction of basically resources upon good hits for the following skills. So quite a lot of skills. And Tayback Kick with the guard brace will now have Martial Spirit effects applied. So I'm not really too sure why they're giving Striker a buff. Some people are trying to argue it's just a change, but I personally feel that this is a buff to Striker. And Quite honestly, Striker and Mystic could both use nerfs, but I guess Pearl Abyss sees differently. The Blessing of Kamasilv is now available to be registered at the marketplace, so you can, if you bought them to sell for some weird reason, because they don't sell for too much, you can now register them to the marketplace. There's a number of new Pearl Shop items, and the little monster box is back in the Pearl Shop. Blue grade items that have been enhanced to pen will now be listed in the marketplace, even if they've never been sold before. So if there's never been a blue grade awakening weapon for your class, for example, a Vediant for the Dark Knight, or a Cestus for, or however you say that, for the Mystic, they will now show up in the marketplace so that you can put a notice on them to be notified if one goes up for sale. And apart from that, there's not too many other big changes this week. Really, the biggest changes for sure are the addition of the Arsha server, which is replacing the Valencia 6 server as the new PvP server. The brand new sealed weapon boxes from the Night Vendor, and the Striker, Warrior, and to a lesser extent, Musa, Ninja, and Kuno buffs. It's not a huge patch, but the Arsha server is hopefully going to let them start fine-tuning and balancing PvP a bit more. We do know that Pearl Abyss has designs on having global PvP matches and tournaments. So in order to do that, they probably would like to balance PvP a bit, and hopefully the Arsha server is the first step in a slightly more balanced PvP state in Black Desert, rather than just I have better gear than you, or my class counters you, I win. And the weapon box is pretty nice. The buffs, little nonsensical for Striker and Warrior, but Musa, Ninja, and Kuno could all use a bit of love, so it's good to see some buffs for them. Anyways, guys, those are the patch notes for the 21st of February 2018 patch. Hope you enjoyed the video. Subscribe if you like it, and have a good one.